So, I had the opportunity to be introduced to some unbelievable technologies through all of my education in the past, gosh, how long have I been doing this now? It's almost a year. Anyway, putting this together, and there were some really intriguing and unbelievable innovators that kind of came to the surface for me, and I thought they need to be here. This is the Consumer Electronics Show. Yes, this is a very commercial venue, but it was very important for me that digital health, the topic, wouldn't be complete without them. So I was fortunate to be able to put together what will now become an annual event called Who Are the Game Changers? And we were really excited that Microsoft came on board and is going to help introduce that. So the stuff is freaking cool. And some of the stuff has kind of been mentioned a little bit earlier, but we're really lucky to have them. And so I am going to invite, our moderator. Randy is the Chief Technology. Sorry. I'm ready, Jill. Okay. Awesome. Randy is the Chief Technology Officer and Strategist for Microsoft U.S. health provider industry. He is responsible for setting the technical and innovation strategy in 3 key interaction points: customers, partners, and product groups. Mr. Fusco works closely with Microsoft Life Sciences health plans and worldwide health provider community to provide the technical architecture, support solution, strategy, and also represents the healthcare provider vertical in shaping the overall vision. What an honor to have you here to introduce our game changers. Thanks.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you. So thanks for joining us today. It's my pleasure to have the opportunity to moderate this panel and have some great discussion around digital health and really game-changing technology. And so I think we will go ahead and get started. I should probably look over here so I can see what's happening. Yeah, so what we've asked the panelists to do is to just take a minute. They've each prepared a slide to provide an introduction of themselves and some background on their company. So let's go ahead and start with Darrel.
Great. Well, again, thank you for the opportunity to speak before you. Put on this panel with my esteemed colleagues. PhiloMetron's a medical device incubator in San Diego. We started about 10 years ago with the idea of solving problems. So we're problem focused. We don't necessarily have technology per se. We go find a large clinical problem and then go pursue it. Our first company we did so it was a company called Corventus. It's a patch. This is the patch. It's FDA cleared. It's for 2 applications, one in the congestive heart failure area, the other in the area of mobile cardiac outpatient telemetry. It's a patch that goes on your body, wirelessly transmits acquired physiological data to allow interventions for either heart failure or for atrial fibrillation. From that growth work, early on we were funded by DARPA to develop a patch for the military for dehydration monitoring. And from that, we've built a portfolio of sensors that we could look at different physiological parameters. And we realized the big problem out there was obesity. And hence our next spin-out company is yet to be named, because I named PhiloMetron and they don't let me name companies anymore. So we're smart on the technology, not on the names. But our next patch is this one, and it's a patch that tells you not only how many calories you burn, but it also tells you how many calories you've eaten automatically through a network like this. And the reason is, and the problem we're solving with this is not necessarily the measurement, it's the ability to drive the compliance or the education, what have you, related to obesity, because obesity is a behavioral problem. And if you're able to change their behavior, you need to personalize it. This gives you the data to personalize it. So that's kind of a nutshell of who we are. Prior to starting Philo, I was a director of new product development for a small Boston-based firm called Gillette, leading their healthcare practice in their areas of ear thermometry and blood pressure cuffs and bathroom scales. So been in a couple of years.
Very good. Thank you, Darrel. Next, we'll go to Arna.
Great. Thank you. I'm Arna Ionescu. I'm the head of user experience at Proteus Biomedical. So let's take a quick step back. The biggest problem facing healthcare globally is reaching everyone. 85% of the world's population does not have access to modern medicine. So what Proteus is doing is developing solutions that address global healthcare challenges. Our solutions are extremely low cost, and they leverage the most ubiquitous, most important utility around, which is the mobile phone, and we've heard some about that earlier today. One of the main things that people do to manage their health is take medications. The pharmaceutical industry is huge. They have $1 trillion in developed assets. That's a lot of value. But most people are not realizing the full value of their drugs, and that's because they either don't take them or they take them incorrectly. So Proteus has developed a digital med, and thank you to Don Jones for sharing his excitement about our product earlier today. We're excited as well. Digital meds communicate via a mobile phone when and how they're taken. But that's not enough. What we're doing is we're creating applications using that information that motivate, educate, inspire, help people self-manage. Our digital med systems are cheaper than branded pharmaceuticals, and we think that given that pervasiveness, because they're so low cost, and the fact that we're applying a lot of very focused human-centered design on the applications, that they have the opportunity to be game changers.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity to come and present today and be part of the panel. It's been a pleasure getting to know some of the other panelists. For Healthsense, the solution that we've worked on developing is essentially helping people age in place. And ever since the beginning of our original NIH funding and Department of Energy funding and DARPA funding, we've been working on this problem of how to solve the problem of growing old is expensive and how do you lower the cost of care. So for us, what we provide is an activity of daily living monitoring and vital sign monitoring system that all operates over a standard Wi-Fi network, and we provide this to a variety of care settings, from single-family homes to independent congregate living, independent living with services, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing. And from this, our core value proposition is we help slow that progression through the care continuum, because the difference between independent living and skilled nursing can be as much as $6,000 or $7,000 a month. So our core value proposition and mission is to help people age in place and do so safely.
Great. Richard?
Hi, my name's Richard Shapcott. I work for a company called SteeperUSA here in San Antonio in Texas. Our company in the UK is RSL Steeper. We've been manufacturing prosthetic components for 90 years now. As you can imagine, back then a lot of the stuff was pretty old school, woodwork, leather, metal, lots of cables. And the opportunity in the UK, the way the health system is funded, often results in low-tech, low-cost solutions. So for us to come into last year, the end of last year, with a brand new technology product that we took on board from an English designer, to bring that into the market is really exciting. And also we bring this into the US to open our own office here to focus completely on the market here.
Fantastic. Welcome. Thanks again for joining the panel. So I'm sure this group is very interested in learning and hearing the discussion that we're going to have here in the next 25 minutes or so around digital healthcare and specifically game-changing technology. So I've prepared a few questions that I would love for you to address, and perhaps, Darrel, we can start with you. And how do you engage a consumer and educate them at the same time?
Well, I think that's the big challenge for everyone, is to take healthcare and make it interesting. I mean, I don't know if anybody has seen it here in the States, where there's a commercial on where there is a individual walks into a car dealership and asks 40 questions, and then he goes into his doctor's office, and the doctor asks him if he has any questions, and he said no. So you have to understand is that the ability to enable somebody to utilize something is you have to engage them in it in that way. And a big issue with consumer devices versus a clinically oriented device is compliance and